Oh, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the launching of the Parent Care Reform Handbook, which I know has been a long time coming. My name is Olivia Newbolt, and I'm one of the operations lead in the parent participation team, and I'm also the regional advisor to the East of England. And I took on working on this project at the beginning of this year, so it's been quite a busy period getting it all ready. The way the session's going to run is I'm going to do an introduction, talk a bit about how forums have been involved, talk a bit about the work that we've been doing, and then I'm going to show you the handbook as it is and how to navigate it, have a little look about feedback and photography, and then talk about the user group that we're hoping to set up to continue feeding back on the handbook. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand, or if you put them in the chat, I've got the lovely Sarah Lee monitoring the chat for me, so she can interrupt me if necessary. There she is, waving. So thank you, Sarah. So to start off, this has been a huge project, and I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's been involved, because it's been really difficult to get to this point of getting it released. And I just wanted to sort of say that, it started off as a kind of simple rewrite of the handbook that was released in 2015, which was 10 years ago. And it's turned into something completely different. It's turned into a huge collaboration project between us, forums, contact internally, external partners. And it's really been an opportunity for us to have a look at our guidance and what's useful for forums. And I think that's the main point of this, is what I'm going to show to you today is not a finished product. We have developed it as far as we think we can go for the moment, and now it's really over to you to start feeding back to us, so we know what sections we need to add, what we need to review. So although we own the editing of it and we're hosting it on the website and coordinating it, really it's a shared project, and it's only going to get better as forums feed back to us what is useful, what isn't useful, and what's needed. So I think, like I said, it's really important to note that it's not finished as such. There, you will notice as you're going through it that there are missing photos, there may be some typos, there may be some broken links. There are definitely sections that we're working on developing, and we'll need you to feedback so that we can make it better. It's an ongoing project. And you will notice as you go through it that there are some photos missing, and that is because initially when we were working on the handbook, we wanted it to be all forum photos, and we just didn't have enough. And when we did some work with the user group back in February, they said that having repeated photos was confusing, so we took that on board. And so where we had repeated photos, we now have no photos. So I'll come to that a bit later, and how you can support with getting more photos in. So to have a little think about what we've done and how forums have been involved. So we've been talking to the NMPCF throughout, particularly around areas of guidance and positions. We had a 2023 conference session for forums where we got feedback on what would be useful. We ran, so in 2023 to 2025, we had advisors rewriting content. We also had associate support to rewrite bits and to get it ready and uploaded, and to add new sections. And those associates were also from forums as well, so we had the forum perspective then. When I took it over in this year, we ran 2 focus groups, and that was for 12 forum members, and that included the NMPCF, and that was really to get feedback on the draft that we'd given them, and we got so much good feedback. And that's from then till now, we've been working on developing that feedback and making sure that we've added in as much as we possibly can. Like I said, not everything has been managed, but it's an ongoing developing project. So the work we've done so far is we've been building content. We have thought really carefully about a feedback loop, which I'll explain to you in a bit when I show you the website. But it's really important that we get consistent feedback, and then we manage that so that we can make sure that we're not missing feedback, and we're having conversations with forums and the NMPCF and wider partners about that feedback so that we can get, you know, really good content and really relevant content on the handbook. We had the feedback from the focus groups, which I explained was amazing, and we've used that to change and update content. And we have been really carefully considering guidance that we're giving on the handbook, and that is an ongoing process. So what we've published today will be built on, and there are areas in it where we will need to continue to think about the guidance that we're giving to forums and the guidance that we're working by, and that's going to be an ongoing process. And so as and when we develop new areas of the handbook, that will be in conversation. That won't be done, you know, just by contact. That will be done by contact the NMPCF, you know, through the user group, so that we're getting a really useful, relevant piece of guidance for you that actually you will find useful. So I'm going to show you the handbook. So let me just find the right page. So when you go onto our parent participation page, this is our standard page, and what you'll notice here in the support for parent carer forums is that I've put parent carer forum handbook here. The link isn't on there yet because I wanted to do the session before it went live. But when you click that link, you will come through to this page, which is the home page of the parent carer handbook, and it gives you a welcome, and then you can use this page to browse. And we've broken the handbook down into sections. So there's one about the handbook, which explains all the kind of back of house stuff. There's forums, the basics, which is basically what a parent carer forum is, what it does. There's setting up a forum, which is basically for new forums, but is also, there's some useful stuff in there for forums that have been around for a bit longer. There's running the forum, so that's about managing your grant and GDPR, paying people, employing people. Working in partnership, which is about partnership working, and that's not just the local authority in health, that includes things about health services, SENDIAS, and more. Communication in parent carer voice is about how to gather parent views and how to promote yourself, so things like social media and websites. Support for forums is about partially the support that we provide through the DFE contract, but also wider support that you can look for. As you can see, there's a missing photo here. So because it's very hard to assign a forum photo to a topic called managing difficult conversations. So that is about complaints, conflicts of interest, and things like bullying and harassment, those kind of things. And then finally, developing existing forums is for forums that have been around for a bit longer, and they're thinking about maybe doing a forum health check or succession planning or that kind of stuff. So that's, you can either come to this homepage and you can browse to your heart's content. Feedback from the user group was that it can lead you slightly down a rabbit hole doing that, because there's a lot and it links through to other pages. But if you want to have a full list of what's in the handbook, you can come at the bottom of every single page. There's looking for something else. You can find a full list of pages. And if you go to that one, you will come out with a full list of what's in each of the sections. So you don't have to just randomly browse. You can have a look here and work out what you want to see. And at the top here, I've got a little top tip that if you're a new forum, you might want to start with parent carer forums basics and setting up a forum. And if you need support, you can talk to your contact advisor. Underneath that, I've got the notes on the handbook, which is essentially a one-pager, which just talks about, I don't know if I can open it. Can you see that? Because I'm not sharing that bit of the screen. But basically, it's a one-pager that just gives an overview of what I'm saying in this, and that's going to go out to all forums today in an all forum email once we've got the link live. So when you go through to a section, so I'll just pick a random section like how parent carer forums began. Oh, page not found. That's exciting. Right. Try a different page, shall we? I'll make sure that's working for when we go through. So if you go to setting up a steering group, which hopefully will work, yes. So when you come into these pages, there's the text initially, and then there are links through in the text because it helps us to keep things relevant if it's directly linking to an external site so that we're not having to update guidance everywhere all the time. There's usually links to any online learning sessions that we've done about the topic. And then you'll find out, so here again, how to feedback parent carer forum content. And then at the bottom, you'll see a series of links about things you might find useful. So that will either take you through to the YouTube channel, or it'll take you to another page in the handbook, or it will take you to an existing page on the contact website that might be useful. Like for this, for example, the local support groups on this page. And so on every page, I've tried to add links at the bottom as well as links in text so that you can, if you want to, if you're so inclined, you can just find your own route through. Now, the next important bit is if you go to the contents page, you will notice that a couple of the links, so this one, parent carer forums and campaigning, says coming soon next to it. And that's not because we haven't got the content, it's because it's not quite there yet. And we don't want to release things that aren't quite right. So that parent carer forums and campaigning page, I'm very much hoping will come out maybe next week. We just got a couple of things to do on that one. And then you'll notice here as well, there's a page for regional groups. And that was a discussion with the user group that having more information about regional groups would be really helpful. But to be honest, I just haven't had the time to consult with everyone to find out what they want on that page. So that I think will be becoming more likely sort of September, October time. But if there's anything when you're going through the handbook that you go, oh, that's missing, we haven't got that, I think something that probably quite a lot of forums will pick up on is we don't currently have a fundraising page. That is something that we're working on. So if you find anything that you think, oh, that we could do with that, or that link is broken, or there's a typing error or something, then you can come to our how to feedback page. And that, again, like the contents, is linked at the bottom of every page. So you don't have to trawl through things to find that. That's just at the bottom of every page. When you come to this page, there is a short feedback form. So we just want to make sure that when people come here that they're actually feeding back about handbook. So you just have to click yes, and then you can leave the page name if you know it, and that's really helpful. Like if there's a broken link or a typing error or something, if you can tell us which page it's on, because it's when you start looking through the handbook, it's a mammoth document. And so if you could tell us what page it is and then tell us a bit more. If you want us to feedback to you directly, we can. There's an option here to put in your name and your email address and your forum. The forum one is optional, but sometimes it's helpful because we could ask your contact advisor to contact you if it's something more general. And we've asked for everyone to give us 2 working days for a response. Currently, we have 4 members of the team who are linked to that, the inbox that this comes into. So it will be constantly managed. And some feedback is going to be really simple, like, oh, there's a broken link, we can fix that really quickly. Or other feedback, like developing new content or raising an issue around guidance, that might just take us a bit longer to think about and to consult with people and collaborate. So that's there. And then the last thing on that page is that we need more photos. So if you are wanting to have your photo as one of the images on the handbook, there's an opportunity here to share them. and we ask you to fill in a consent form, which is an online, it's quite a short form, and then you can send the photos to the PCF handbook address. So if we don't get more photos from forums, we will be adding stock photos for the time being, because I think it really helps with readability and to know where you are, to be able to see a photo going through. And I'll show you where we have a photo for something. So if we go to communication, the parent voice, oh God, take the password off that one as well. It's quite good doing this online. I know which things I have to fix before it goes live. So if you are, I don't know, say developing a communication plan, let's see if that's got the links at the bottom. You can see here that branding, we've used this photo. And when you look at it on here, branding has this photo. So where we have used photos, we've tried to use them consistently for the links to it, so that you can kind of know where you are visually. I know this is a bit of a whirlwind. I've gone through it probably quite quickly. I think the last thing I want to mention is that we're planning on having, as well as monitoring the feedback and the website, the feedback in the inbox, is that we're planning to have a user group, and that will be meeting in October and January, but I haven't got the dates yet. And we're suggesting that's going to be for 8 forum members. And that will be an opportunity for people to look at the feedback we've been getting, and then to talk about how we might review that, but also to talk more generally about any issues that have been coming up while using the handbook, anything's been missing. And if anyone is interested in getting involved in that, then please could you let me know. You can email me at olivia.newbolt, and that's on the guidance notes. But if there are lots of people that want to do it, it will be first come, first serve, because we need to keep the groups. We need to keep the groups to a kind of a smaller size, just so that we can have a really good discussion about things and not have too many people in that. So if you're interested, please do let me know. And I know I've run through that. So if there are any questions, if there have been any questions in the chat, Sarah, and if anyone wants to put their hand up and ask me anything, then please do.
All quiet so far.
Oh gosh, I've stunned you into silence. I'm so sorry.
I'm just wondering if anyone wants to look at a particular section.
I really have stunned everyone into silence.
Oh, when is it going live on the website?
Today, after this session. So I do apologise. It seems like there are some links that still have a password on, so I'm going to go through and change those. But after I finish the session, I will link it on that parent participation page, and you can go and have a browse and see what you think. And like I said, any feedback, you know, positive, negative, whatever, we're looking for honest feedback. So please do make any suggestions as well, and we'll try our best to add things.
We've had a question, well, it's not a question, but could you show the section on succession planning?
Yes.
Bit of immediate feedback says it's looking great and looking forward to have a play around on it. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. So if you go into developing existing forums, this section has a forum health check section. Sorry, I'm struggling with my C's today. A section on supporting each other. This one about saying yes or no, choosing where to focus your forum's energy, is about building capacity, creating a space to reflect. And then the succession planning bit is this, leading your forum through change. And it's titled that because we did an online learning session, which you'll find in it, with the NMPCF around leading your forum through change. Like I said, if you read it and you find that there's things that would be useful, or there are things that are missing, then you can feed that back and we will try and do the research and add things.
So we've had a bit of feedback. So this looks great. I like it that it's been broken down into sections and that it's on the website directly instead of instead of a PDF, so it can be updated easily.
Oh,
Thank you so
yes,
much for
that.
that.
Oh, that's great. So that actually made me think, thank you for that, is that if you go into the about us about section, about the handbook section, because we had lots of comments about it being printed, and I think once you start using it, you'll see why we're not releasing it as a single printed document, because it's massive, but also because it's going to be changing. And we had a conversation about this. So in the accessibility section, I've just put a tip on here that if you're going to print sections to share, you'll need to check if there's a newer version, because we are going to be updating, and we're going to try and make sure that forums are informed before new sections come up, so that they're not blindsided by the fact there's new sections. And we've also, when we had a meeting with the NMPCF last week, they talked about version control, and that having maybe a little banner at the top of the pages to say when they've last been updated would be really helpful, so you're not having to skim through emails or other things to find if a page has been updated or not. So I'm working on that. I need to talk to comms about whether they can do a banner or whether we need to do something a little bit less techy with that. But just so that you are aware, if you're printing things off the handbook, there may be updates quite regularly, and there will be pages that I'm adding to. So in the policies and procedures section of the handbook, which we have in the running your forum bit, so in the policies and procedures section, we have got a load of adaptable templates. And these, one of the suggestions was it would be helpful to have more than one version of a template. So I am working on that. So currently there's just one template per section, but I will be adding more templates over the next few weeks. And so hopefully you can have a sort of play around and see what would work for your forum best and how you want to adapt it.
There's a suggestion here about having a last updated date at the bottom of the page.
Good idea. I'm adding that to my list. Do you think at the bottom of the page or at the top of the page? What will be more helpful, do you think?
I've got somebody saying top, somebody saying bottom. We could take a poll.
I was going to say we might have to do a poll.
So far, well, we've got 4 saying top, and
okay,
both are normal. Thank you. But as long as it's at the top, we'll be all right. So there's quite a few comments. So somebody is saying that some of the information they've seen on here will be useful for their forum now, which is great to know. Much more future-proof, accessible and searchable as a web copy. And yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I mean,
well done, Olivia.
Thank you. Well, it was not a solo project. This has required an awful lot of people's involvement. And everyone's been brilliant at getting back to me about things, which is amazing. So I don't know what people want to do. If people would like some time back in their day, I'm happy to, we could do the survey and then we could end the session and then I could get it live quicker. Or we can have more questions, whatever you want to do. I'm at your disposal.
I think if we could launch the survey now.
Yeah.
And then if that gives people time to think about the questions, or if they want to think about other sections that they'd like to have a bit of an overview of, please just put anything in the chat if you want to look at a particular section.
Is there anything else anyone wants to ask while they have me on?
There's a comment about policy templates. Fantastic.
Yeah, and they've been they are templates that are used by forums, so we've anonymized them, and I do have a whole raft more to anonymize to put up, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So there will be more coming along. And if you think there's anything missing or you need a policy on it, then please do, please do feedback. And you might notice there are a couple of areas in the policy section where I've just put links to other places because I haven't quite had time to write a sort of introduction about that policy. So we will, we'll just keep working on it and trying to make it better. But like I said, it's over to you now to tell us what you want and what will be helpful and what will be useful, because there's no point in us doing things that isn't helpful or useful for you.
Olivia, you mentioned help with the blank images.
Yeah. So the comms team, who have been very, very busy, are going to help support me to put in just some stock images for the time being. So we will be working on that over the next few weeks. But as if forums want to share images that we could put and use as images for the handbook, then like I said, if you go to that how to feedback section, there's the consent form, and then there's the email address you can send the photos to. And I mean, we'd love to make it more forum relevant rather than having stock photos, but for the time being, I think that's where we'll start. And that obviously is something that will need to be reviewed as well as we go along. Anything else, Sarah?
That's it on the chat.
Excellent. Well,
I think everyone's dying to get stuck into it.
I know, so I need to get the link up and make sure all the passwords have been taken off. So I will do that. Yeah, unless there's any final questions, I'm happy to answer anything. If you have any questions for me after the session, my email address is on that the notes that will be sent out, and you can just email me with questions. I'm happy to answer anything if I can. Yes, an email will be sent when it's live. So we're just working on an all forum email. So that will go into whatever email address you have registered as the all forum email address. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. And I hope to hear your feedback soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.